Right on and welcome back. And we're about to get into the not tequila side of the world. I'm very intrigued. Tequila always does one of two things to me. One is I either go, like you said earlier, tastes a little bit like agave, and that's it. And I either am acceptable or not, which is usually most silvers, or it gives me tequila face because it tastes like dirt on the end. And those are my two big experiences with tequila. And I've had a lot of aged ones, and then the triple and quadruple, and how many sextuplet distilled things that taste like water, like you were saying. You go, they get a little buzz. And so I'm intrigued to see what you have here, sir. When you open that bottle, I can smell like mass smoke. The smell is crazy. I almost get like a Scotch smell on it. Well, so why is that happening, man?
Well, okay. So what we're tasting right here is Sotol.
Okay.
It's from the state of Chihuahua, which is northern Mexico. This town of Janos, where our distiller Jacob Jaquez lives, and his great-great-great-grandfather was the original. So he's I might have missed one grade in there. He's a sixth-generation distiller that has been distilling Sotol up there in that area. The plant is called the Destilrion. That's the name of the plant. I'm getting full nerd here.
Sure.
I'm going to go and then circle back around here in a second, because one of the things you talked about was tequila.
Right.
And so most of us have our education of Mexican distillates based on what we've experienced with tequila.
Sure. Usually it's called worshiping the porcelain god afterwards.
Yeah, exactly.
That's my most common tequila experience.
Or out the taxi cab window if you can't make it.
I know, which is really like it's really a shame. I mean, and I had my own experiences with that too. We all did, but all tequila is mezcal, which we have here. This is Sotol. There are other distillates from Mexico called Raicilla and Bacanora, and they're from indigenous distillates from different states. All they are is just people making distillate out of plants that grow in their backyard. That's all they were. That's all they ever were. Now, once the big billion-dollar conglomerates come in and monetize it and commercialize it and put in their marketing thing and all that, then things started to become a little bit deteriorated from what it was before. On tequila, here's an interesting fact most people don't know. Did you know that it is legal to put on tequila 100% agave on the front of the label, and yet it only has to be 99% in the bottle?
Yeah, I heard about this glycerin and I've heard all kinds of stuff they put inside of there.
Caramel coloring.
Yeah,
like
caramel, and then there was one other thing they were talking about last week. What was it? The Karma guy was talking about that.
You can put artificial agave flavor.
And vanilla.
Yeah, you can put vanilla in there. You can put thickening agents, like that's the glycerin or glycerol that you put in there. You can put sugar in there. Artificial sugars, natural sugars, you can put those in there. You can do that. So you can legally, and again, this is not a smoke and mirrors thing. You can legally put 1% of any artificial flavoring and coloring into a tequila and call it 100% agave and not have to disclose any of that on the label. That is legal law.
That seems a little wrong.
Yep.
Yeah.
It is.
That seems a little off.
100% agave, but not.
But it's not. So under that premise, so as you talk about tequila, there is a lot of misrepresentation of tequila that exists out there in the world. And I'm not here to out anybody because I don't know. I'm not sitting there next to the still and see what it is they do. I mean, yes, I think that there are, I taste things that I am pretty sure that they use nefarious tactics in their
Of course.
It's not even nefarious. It's legal, but it's just, again, it's non-disclosed. You don't have to put it on the label. And so a lot of those hangovers that you get, a lot of that nasty feeling that you get are the carcinogens that they do put in there as additive flavors. They use other distillate bases. I mean, we all know mixtos and things like that. And so, so there's a lot of variance within tequila that creates that experience that you're talking about right there. So that's the premise behind which then we go to the platform of all the other Mexican distillates that exist out there. Because those were, I mean, you look out there like what you look at all the big tequila brands that exist in the world for the most part right now, and how many of them do you think, if you were to take an estimate right now, are owned by Mexicans?
Oh, probably very little, right?
Yeah,
Anything that's commercial is no longer that way. They took the money,
right? Exactly,
and ran, right? I mean,
well, no, they didn't know. They got bought out.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The Mexicans were like, yeah, if you wanted it, they just thought it was tequila, right? It's like the Indians were like, you want to buy the land? Sure, bro.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
same principle, right?
Yeah, and they got bought out, and it's like there's a agriculturally, there's a big fight that goes on out there right now because you can't grow any agricultural products in in Jalisco, which is the state with which most tequila comes from. You can barely even drink the groundwater because of the toxicities and the pesticides and the poisons that exist in the groundwater because of the monocrop culture that exists right now. Because you've got now $1 billion or a million acres that exist out there that are all run by big, dare I say, Monsantos of the world, for lack of a better explanation.
Sure.
I'm not saying that they are involved in it, but if you will, those that practice those farming practices, and that's what goes on. And so you've got a big cultural shift that is existing right now in Mexico, which is very applicable to now what we're talking about when we drink this Sotol and then Mezcal. Mezcal, even much more of a hot topic. Yeah?
Yeah, so for sure. Mezcal's like a buzzword right now. Like crazy.
Totally.
So let's check this out.
Let's talk about this. This is Sotol. So this is northern Mexico. So you get that smokiness from it. So this is 45% ABV. So it is heavy, boozy alcohol. It's 90 proof. It is a wild plant that grows. Again, the Distillerion plant.
That is really tasty.
Distillerion plant is how you do it. And the varietal of it is the Wheelery. So there's about 17 to
geek.
That is tasty.
17 to 20 different. I know.
I like it, dude. I love that. I love all of it, man. That's tasty. That's tasty. I mean, I want to hear more about it. Like, honestly, the mouthfeel on that, which I did the right thing, which I've learned. That was a swirl. Mm-hmm. Man, that is. I've had a lot of really hot booze in my life, and I wouldn't put this in that category. I mean, yeah, you have the sting of alcohol because it's alcohol, right? I mean,
yeah.
But that is not like fire breathing by any chance, by any leap in the imagination.
Yeah. So this is got a couple things to talk about with this. So it's not an agave.
Okay.
Though it oftentimes gets associated with it. That's fine if we do. Technically, from the genus tree, it's not an agave. It is from the asparagi family. It is closer related to the asparagus and the artichoke, which you will get a little bit of those.
I get a little bit of the
I get a little bit of the bitter. I get a little bit of the bitter on the end. I wouldn't have thought about it.
I call it that asparagus funkiness that you get.
Right.
You get a little bit of that.
When you're drinking enough of this, your pee stinks.
I was just going to ask that. Yeah.
It's going to happen. That's a normal
thing.
thing.
The smell of your urine.
When I drink enough of it, I'll let you know. I have not ever.
I have to do a scientific project.
Wink, wink.
Yeah, right.
Never in my life.
Apparently today we'll know if
this starts now.
Why does it smell like grilled asparagus when I sit by a fire? That's weird.
Yeah, one of the other things too, and this is an interesting political and socioeconomic historical fact when you're talking about Sotol and distillates that come out of northern Mexico. So this, again, state of Chihuahua, for those of you guys who are not geographically familiar with where Chihuahua is, other than the dog, it is right directly south of Texas, for the most part of Texas, from like central to western Texas and then New Mexico. Then there's another state called Chiapas, which is, Coahuila, which is just a little bit east of Chihuahua. And then you've got another state, Durango, which then you've got mezcal that comes out of Durango. And so you've got all these states that basically border America. So why is it right now that we have in this country just a huge influx of tequila, and tequila is the main...
Because that's where the tunnel underground is, right?
Well, yeah,
over there by Mexico.
I know, right?
Texas.
That's where it comes underground, right? I mean, that's how it goes.
Yeah, but they started there. Though.
Yeah,
that's the whole issue of it.
Yeah, who knows, man.
Well,
just bring it all over. It's damn tasty. I mean, this stuff. Just bring it all over.
Here's some of the historical information that I was taught. So our distiller Jacob Jaquez, again, who I said is a sixth generation distiller over there. He told me the story. He said back during American Prohibition, when alcohol became illegal in this country. One of the hot places, you went to Canada to go get, your Canadian Club, your whatever, Crown Royal and whatever those whiskey distilleries were up there, that you brought them down to the, down south, and then you had all these Mexican distilleries down there. Well, these plants then, since they took so long to grow in the ground and to be able to create a product, were not very economically viable, and so the powers that be and the rum runners and the mafiosos and all those people, they went down there and they assassinated and they eliminated anyone who was cooking any distillate there that was close to a border town, and they took them over, and then they made what then they called the Mexican whiskey. This was during Prohibition, and so there became about a 50-year to 75-year gap from Prohibition through till like it started being lifted in the 70s all the way through to the 90s. To where it was either illegal or it was like you couldn't make distillate, like the federales would come in and they would step in and not allow you to make your distillate and your family distillate and all that. So it's only just been very recently, and that's one of the reasons why we're only just now starting to see Sotol out there. And again, this story was told to me by our distiller there, whose great-grandfather was attacked by the mafiosos, who he had his distillery, and then he fled up into the mountains and was able to keep all his notes and like his ledgers as to why he's still able to distill the same way his that patriarch of the family. I'm gonna stop saying the greats.
That's fine. The greats. I like all that, man. What? So that this is basically, how long has this been in production? And I mean, now that it's come out of that like dark era, right? So all these towns are now coming out. Now they can do their own thing. Nobody's after them for distilling in their own, kind of like craft beer popped up here, right? I mean, once craft beer started popping up here, it was crazy, man. There was 1 million craft beer breweries in every city.
Blew up.
Now there's like 10 of them within a rock's throw of, I feel like, any downtown. But it wasn't like that for the longest time, right? Getting a license was so hard. And now that they can, we have all this plethora of different beers, and some good, some bad, some crappy. I feel like booze is kind of doing that. Yeah, this is richer in culture nationally. Even though you said beers first, I still think that guy distilling that in his own place that he still did is still richer in culture than kind of a local beer community, you know?
It is, and yet though it's still not disconnected, because most of us as well, at least I don't know. I come from a European genealogy, and so beer certainly was in. If you go back 10 plus, maybe 15 generations, come from that genealogy.
Well, the truth is, every culture gets fucked up.
It does.
So let's just be like, that's what cracks me up. Is I'm like, guys, whatever you like, we do whatever. I'm like, everybody had something they either smoked or drank to party with, or to find God, whatever the heck it may be. But that's really what happened, right? I mean, every culture has its own thing of like a mind altering that allowed you to either open up or connect or do something that works. And I think that it's interesting to go look at each one of those and how they started and where they've gone to now. Right now, we've developed a favorite flavor profile. If you start drinking like the moonshines and stuff like that stuff was horrible. I mean, people like it, but
bathtub distilled stuff.
Yeah, but they were doing it because they were like, oh, you drink this, now we're all buddies, right? Like, oh, cool, right? I mean, that's I think the base factor was it made us all connect more. And you can tell me if I'm wrong. You're going to know more about this than me. I just know that when I was younger and wanted to get to know somebody, we got drunk.
Yeah.
And I think that no matter what the times, and I think no matter what the times or what era it was or what culture you are, it always kind of, mind altering, sitting around a fire, eating was the way you got to go, hey man, let's let down our guard,
It's not necessarily I hate giving tasting notes on these, especially
No. And let's pour that mezcal while we're in the conversation so we can keep moving on here. I'm intrigued. And I think everybody gets something else. I really enjoyed the Sotol, and that is the first time I've ever heard of it and or tasted it. And honestly, it's one of those boozes that I would say that if you put that next to tequila, I'd tell you that's probably not a tequila.
Correct.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like it's not a tequila. Thank you, Vanna. Thank you, Vanna, for handing that out. I appreciate
Welcome.
that.
Oh, my pleasure.
But I do say that about very few boozes that people bring to me in categories, and like with the Nolet Saffron, I drank that and was like, why do you guys call this gin? Right? Like this isn't gin. Like, oh yeah, the label or whatever. I'm like, yeah, but like if you blind taste tested me, there's no way I'd put that in the family. And with that, I would say that was a liquor that has qualities of a tequila, but I wouldn't put that in the tequila category, in my opinion, of tasting.
And it's not tequila.
Yeah, cool.
It's legally not a tequila.
So I have a question actually on the Sotol. Like I know the distillation maceration process of tequila and mezcal, the difference between the cooking as far as smoking or the clay ovens. How is the Sotol made? Is it more similar to a mezcal, or would it be more similar to agave?
Well, agave is mezcal. So
I'm sorry, tequila. Tequila or mezcal.
So to answer this question, all alcohol is made from sugar. Sugar, yeast, water makes the byproduct of that. So they all eat each other up, and the byproduct of that is alcohol and carbon dioxide, CO2, right?
Right.
So if you allow the CO2 to go out into the vapors, then you have a clear distillate. If you cap it and put a bottle cap on it, then you have bubbles like beer and champagne.
Right. I'm talking the cooking process.
So in that process, agave is a tree bark-y like substance, a starchy substance with which you cannot make an alcohol out of. So when you make a sugar-based distillate, so sugarcane or rum, something like that, you don't have to cook it, right? Because it's already in its sugar. You know, grapes too. Like it's like you don't have to cook it, but you do with barley. That's why you talk about malting processes in barley. That's why you talk about cooking processes in mezcals and sotols and all that. So you've got to cook it. So you got to apply a heat to it. So in tequila, this is my general explanation to your question. I had to give that like definition preface to answering your question. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Am I long-winded?
No, you're good. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
For a generic answer, so tequilas, for the most, well-made tequilas are cooked in an oven. Think of a piece of meat. So you got to cook it. So you got a raw meat, you got to cook it before you can distill it. Okay, right.
Sometimes you just go for the gold.
Not in Cody's world.
Yeah, other than the...
But go ahead.
Right, yeah. So you got to cook it, right? So you're going to... one way to do it is put it in an oven like a prime rib style. So you're going to cook it slow roast. That would be a very good explanation of tequila. Another process, you could do it in like a pressurized cooker that has like a little smoke aspect to it. So you're going to smoke it and then put it in a pressurized cooker. That would kind of be what Sotol is. And I can go into further nerd notes later if you want to go down there. And then mezcal would be like underground, like Texas style brisket or barbacoa style.
And that's why you're getting that big smoke.
Yes, exactly. So you're getting the smoke because you're applying you've got to heat the product. And so you're heating it with a wood product, which is imparting the smoke flavor into it.
So where's the smoke come from the Sotol then? Because there's smoky in it.
Yes.
Right. I mean, I taste it. It's not like prevalent and crazy, and it doesn't taste like a campfire. But I mean, there's some smoke in there for sure.
So you're dropping that in the big heated rock volcanic pits that do have some wood, some mesquite wood down in the bottom of it. But for the most part, it's actually the fibers of the Sotol plant itself starting to charcoal.
Oh, okay.
And then that creates
just a little
smoke. And then they add water to that into that pit to dampen some of the heat as it goes.
So it kind of chars it, I guess.
It slows down the charring process because it's... So Sotol Chihuahua, think spaghetti western, as far as the aridness and the moisture content that's going to exist in the plant. Whereas down in Oaxaca, it's a much more of a, it's a little bit, I'm saying a lot more, but it is much more moisture in the plant. And so up in Chihuahua, those plants will charcoal themselves out. So you've got to add some water to that.
Got it.
That cooking process. Sorry, I'm going way nerd on you guys.
You're good, man. You're good.
Yeah.
Way nerd's good. Way nerd's good. If you don't nerd out, then it's like a 5-minute show of us getting drunk. So let's be honest, right, Tony? Nerding out's part of this game, right? I mean,
it's the justification.
Yeah, that's
how we justify.
Yeah, we'll call this the Liquor Dork Show, and then everybody will watch. No, I love
alert.
it. Yeah, right. I'm down. I nerd out on food all the time, and I just think I know 100 people are clicking off on us right now.
Yeah, sometimes I catch myself
Exactly.
going off and explaining something when somebody asks me about a spirit or something, and I forget the level of their competency.
Yeah,
and I'm explaining, and they're looking at me, with this little sideways head. I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. Let me back up a little.
Otherwise, they're dumb shit.
Nerd.
I'm learning a ton. So you're actually telling more to me about tequila and whatever. And I think this is like the fourth tequila. Not that this is tequila, but what I'm saying is in this genre,
agave distillate.
I've learned more about the process in that region.
Yeah, that's cool.
than I have in the last 3 shows.
Thank you.
So no, you're
job.
good, brother. You're good. This I just tasted.
Does that mean I can go now?
No, you're good. You're sticking around now. You're screwed.
You're
need absolutely screwed, man. This tastes damn good. This isn't harsh either. You were saying these are very like forward,
Big,
hot, big,
bold. Yeah,
but it's not. This isn't the. I haven't made tequila face once, which is a freaking miracle, So
45% alcohol in both of those that you just had.
Yeah,
that's 90
is
proof.
That is crazy, man. That's really, really good. And the Sotol, I'm gonna have to pick up a bottle for the house. I never thought I would say I really like that, but I do. This mezcal though, this is like a mild smoked, clear liquor. I wouldn't even put this. I mean, I'm sure you can make cocktails out of it, but why?
Right,
It's
exactly.
tasty.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the things that's really prevalent there with this, and we can go ahead and pour the second one as we're tasting it, is that this is a really interesting historical fact, and it's also too really, I think it's really important when we talk about mezcal is the indigenous culture that exists there. So back, and anyone listening to this, if I'm wrong on my facts, please don't crucify me on it because I'm this.
No, crucify him. Get him. Get him.
I'm only.
I love it.
I'm only Google educated on this. But let's say like 1500s Aztecs, as they were out of the Yucatan Valley there, where the Aztecs were, their empire was created. So they started conquering all of Mexico, as we call Mexico here today. Well, the culture down there that still is prevalent is the Zapotec culture or Zapoteca culture. As if you've known any Oaxacans, they'll always refer to it as that. And one of the reasons is the Aztecs went to try to conquer all that area. There was too many hills and mountains and 7,500 10,000 foot mountains over there. So they're like, fuck it, we're not going to go there. Well, then the Spaniards came over a couple hundred years later, and then they did what the Europeans did to the Americas and reaped and pillaged their way throughout the Americas, and then, if you will, like colonized it, and then they saw those big same mountains and said, like, screw it, we're not going to go try to conquer all those mountains. So one of the byproducts of that is that Zapotec culture still exists today in the way that it did 10,000 plus years ago. When I was talking earlier about the shamanistic properties of mezcal, I was at this palenque. Palenque is synonymous with distillery down there in Oaxaca. And there was a shaman that was there, a female shaman that was doing a ritual on a woman. And she was taking mezcal in her mouth, and she had a tree branch in her hand, and she would softly like tap her on the back, and then she would spit mezcal in her, and then she would turn her 90 degrees and do the same thing.
I think I saw a movie like that once. It was really weird.
It's called Exorcist.
Yeah, right. Well, it happens.
Yeah, I know, right? No, but in that respect of it has that old Zapotec culture of that Native American, because they are American, but they're Zapotec,
right?
If you will, that generic word Native American, but like they're the Zapotec culture that has 10, 15, 20,000 year culture behind it.
So what's the difference between this one and that one besides you can spit this on a chick and she's healed? I'm sorry if I took that the wrong way.
No. 70 miles.
Is that what it is? So
it's
regionally
region, essentially.
Okay, cool.
70 miles.
Are they made the same way?
Yes.
Cool. Let's check it out. What do you?
So different person making it.
Right.
And think of this like Pinot Noir from Russian River Valley, and then Pinot Noir from Calistoga. So one from Sonoma, one from Napa.
This is a lot longer flavor profile.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. It has a more dense
really
minerality to it. So slightly, this is a 47% alcohol.
Right.
Has a little bit more mineral content in the soil that exists around there. So yeah, I mean it's a plant. So it's subject to whatever the growing properties are of that, whether it be rainfall, sun, and soil.
Do these have like a year on them, or are they just trying to hit the same thing? So all these are going to taste different as they come out, no?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so we're not looking for consistency in these,
Correct.
or like, that drives me nuts, even though I know why people do it. But I think that's such an American culture thing. Like, it always should taste like this. You're like, but what if it's different this year? What if it doesn't rain?
Yeah, you think of it like as a wine vintage, that every year it's going to be different.
Yeah.
So, and then every region is going to be different as well.
Tequila should be like that.
Tequila is still definitely like that. You see a Highland tequila versus a Lowland tequila, and the taste differences that you find in those, and it varies between brands and...
It's a plant.
Right. It is what it is.
It's a plant.
Well, see, that's that's what I'm telling you about the romantic side of it. I think that's missing in a lot of these. People are like, oh, Patron, which whatever. It is what it is. Everybody drinks it, but that always tastes the same. It's always whatever. And I'm like, that's impossible that tastes the same every year coming out of those plants.
You get 1%, the 1% artificial stuff you can put in.
You get a bogey.
Whatever flavor,
You get a bogey is really how it goes down. What do you think, Tony? You like it?
Ooh,
oh, dude, come
and
on,
get some.
bro, dude. Just, dude, swig out of the bottle there, bro. What are you doing over there? Holy cow, dude. You're not turning red yet. I feel like we haven't done a whole show. Yeah. This definitely has a different flavor profile. Sits on the tongue different. This has more of an umami to it, I think. It has more of an umami to it. Period. The actual, I feel like this has almost aging on it with the flavor profile more than the other one, even though I'm probably wrong. I feel like this is
neither of them do have any age.
That's what I mean, but it feels like it for some reason.
But the second one, like when you drive down the road there, you'll see red soil, yellow soil, brown soil, purple soil, blue soil, and you see those within a 100-yard swath, and you see that dense minerality that exists in there, and that's I don't know.
Good.
That's the best answer I can give you on it.
No, it's the terroir. To say the least.
Terroir.
Terroir.
Like paper terroir.
See, I had a French guy tell me it's terroir.
Oh, okay.
But French
I have a horrible French accent.
Even though the French everything's right, usually they're just wrong and they think they're right.
Yeah,
that's really what it
could
is.
Be that.
French are always right.
See, you must be French.
I do have some French.
No, my first wife was.
So you learned.
Yeah, she taught me how to be really good to my now wife.
Right on. That's going to be my words of wisdom next week.
Yeah.
May your current wife teach you how to be better to your next wife.
Yes, exactly.
That's fantastic.
And may your current wife thank your ex-wife.
Oh man, that just made
that
my heart happy. I appreciate that very much. That was delicious, man. Hey, thank you very much. I really, you did spread a lot of words of wisdom on me today. I feel like I learned more about regional and booze today than I normally do.
Cool.
So thank you
Awesome.
very much, man.
Thank you for what you're doing out there.
Yeah, dude, we try our best, and at the end, at least we catch a fat buzz.
Yeah.
What else can we say, right, dude?
Drink
we
some good
try our
stuff.
hardest.
Doing the shaman's work.
Yeah, yeah. I gotta find a chick that lets me beat her and spit on her back. And that's
Whoa.
just kidding. I'm not into that. Wink, wink. I'm married, have a kid coming.
Freaky.
It wasn't on her back. That's how it goes. Anyway, moving on. So where do they find you at with your company and or these boozes to get the important stuff out of the way? Where can these fine folks watching find your stuff?
Our company, Back Bar Project, www.backbarproject.com, just as it sounds. That's our company. You're going to have all the information that you would like, plus all the other distillates that we work with out there. We have many other families that we work with. And yeah, I mean, we're obviously we're distributed through local distribution systems. If you're industry driven, just email us from the information that you see there.
Sure.
You'll
absolutely.
find it there on the website, and we can give you the tech info and all that kind of stuff.
And these are found at like BevMo's and things of that nature, or no?
We've got the Jafar.
Those are everywhere.
The Jafar is at BevMo's. These are going to be at specialty shops right now. So
cool,
Yeah.
delicious. If you find them, grab them. They're freaking bomb diggity. Do you have a Instagram or a Facebook Instagram handle?
At H.E. Greer, Greer, just like it sounds. H.E. Greer, Greer is my Instagram.
Cool.
Yeah, and then same for Facebook. So
Awesome, man. Awesome. Check it out. And Erica, all your business, where can we find all your amazing things at?
Oh, goodness. My 5 Instagram pages.
They all point to each other.
Yeah. So one of my major industry ones is Craft.E Cocktails. So craft.e.cocktails.
That's very clever.
Yeah.
I like that.
So do I. Thanks. And then also, of course, youngsmarket.com, which is our distributorship where we are able to sell to the restaurants. So you can find these in a lot of local restaurants. We are here in Fullerton. I know quite a few restaurants right here just in the local area that carry these.
Sure.
Anything
else?
That's it.
What
right
about
there.
charity stuff?
My charity. Yep. My Instagram handle for that is Wonderous, Wonderous.
She can smell it.
Woman.
She looked it up.
WOMAN. I have notes right here in front of me.
Yeah, perfect. She's like,
ORG. So it's Wondrous Woman ORG is
Cool.
the handle.
Cool.
Yeah. And that's a brand new startup. So I'm pretty excited about that. We're going to do some, group community things. We can't get some of the younger girls to drink yet. Apparently it's illegal. So, but little...
you'll teach them. You'll teach them
volunteering,
eventually.
Beach cleanup, things like that.
Absolutely.
And then my personal one that you can find all 3 of these things on is E_Apache, which is, that indigenous
That's
Native
how it
American
goes.
in me.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. The original OG Americans. I know how that goes. Perfect. And thank you so much for coming on and sharing with us. It's always a pleasure. And thank you guys for putting up with us along with all the dorkiness that happened today. I'm very proud to say that I learned a lot. You can find us at Reckless OC, Cody Storts on Instagram, or at Retired Fat Kid. Thank you guys. Have a great day.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.